First things first, we know it was a long one, Natasha, right? Like, we're hearing reports that it was more than 2 hours long, which is certainly wasn't a quick call. And we're getting early reports, mostly from Russian state media, which have Putin framing the call as productive and positive. You had some mention of that there in the lead up here. And those outlets are reporting that Russia, as you mentioned, is ready to work on what they're calling a memorandum on what future peace talks might look like. And of course, it's important to note that Putin was a no-show for peace talks that he suggested last week in Turkey. So might need to take those comments with a bit of a grain of salt. And those who know the region best are skeptical about Russia's interest in peace.
My understanding is that the initial reports are all from the Russian side. That would suggest that really nothing much happened during the call, nothing positive, nothing truly new. Putin has no desire to end the fighting. He thinks he can continue fighting and take more Ukrainian territory. He's hoping that the United States will not supply new weapons to Ukraine, even though Trump took a decision to send modest amounts of weapons a couple of weeks ago.
So we are still waiting to hear directly from President Trump about this call. But as you mentioned, the president did post on social media that he thought the call went very well. And he went on to write that the tone and spirit of the conversation was excellent.
Okay. And this call comes as hostilities in the region have ramped up over the weekend. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, right. So, I mean, a lot of talk about peace, but actions can speak a lot louder than words, especially when it comes to peace talks. And it's another reason maybe we have to take talk of peace from Russia with a little bit of skepticism. Russia launched the largest drone attack since the invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. More than 270 drones sent into Ukraine by Russia, several regions targeted, including the capital, Kyiv. One woman was killed in those attacks. And those drone attacks come as Russia made advances on the ground as well last week. So it doesn't sound like peace from the Russian side. And you can tell that the U.S. is becoming frustrated by the escalation of this conflict, something that Vice President J.D. Vance sort of addressed a little bit on his flight home from Rome.
Look, are you serious? Are you real about this? Because the proposal from the United States has always been, look, there are a lot of economic benefits to thawing relations between Russia and the rest of the world, but you're not going to get those benefits. You keep on killing a lot of innocent people. So if you're willing to stop the killing, the United States is willing to be a partner for peace. That's been the proposal to the Russians, to the Ukrainians, and frankly, to nations and other hotspots around the world.
So you can hear a little bit of frustration there. This conflict is still dragging on. I mean, you've got to remember that President Trump and J.D. Vance campaigned on ending this conflict quickly. I guess we'll see if these talks today can help bring down the temperature.